All right, so I got an article here from GameSpot.com, which is not an anti-woke website by any stretch of the imagination. Here's the headline: Neil Druckmann on negative criticism over The Last of Us Part 2. I don't care. Bring that up because, well, I'll go ahead and read the article first. The HBO series co-creator and video game creative director is just focusing on what's best for TV. Don't hold your breath that the next season of HBO's The Last of Us will change things up to address criticism regarding the sequel to the video game. Neil Druckmann isn't concerned with the Part 2 feedback whatsoever. I don't care, Druckmann told GQ and asked how a minor segment of players strongly disliked how the story unfolded in The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know if I'd call it a minor segment, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. How they react is how they react. That is completely outside of our control. So how do we make the best TV show version of that story? That's the problem that we wrestle with every day. And there's a quote from the show co-creator Craig Mazin, followed up Druckmann by mentioning that at least the audience is emotionally invested. To the extent that the storylines move people to rage, confusion, or disappointment or anger, well, that I suppose is preferable to the worst possible outcome, which is indifference. Then it mentions that the next season of the show won't cover all the events of the video game, and that the season could begin filming later this year. The season 1 finale aired just last night. That's March 12th, days ago by now. But anyway, the thing is, and the reason I bring up that this is GameSpot, not an anti-woke website, is that is terrible optics for Druckmann to say I don't care. Now I will say that I think he's more right about this than wrong. Because I believe that you got to make the best version of the story that you want to tell. Now, people may not like it, and that's fine. Now, if he had said something about, well, they're wrong, but as he said, how they react is how they react. That's completely outside of our control. So how do we make the best TV show version of that story? I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. To say I don't care, it's like that's what's going to run in the headlines, as you see right here. And that's why I said that GameSpot is not some anti-woke website. So for them to put that in the headline to because basically that implies or infers that Druckmann is just being dismissive. I don't care, they're idiots or something like that. I don't care about the negative, opinions and criticism and blah blah blah. That's not really what he's saying, but him saying I don't care gives that impression. I just think it's dumb for him to have said that. But at the same time, I also understand it could just be a slip of the tongue kind of thing. Although he should have looked at the interviewer and been like, "Hey, can we cut that out?" Because it wasn't like it was like a live interview. It wasn't on, wasn't on like live television or whatever. It was, GQ. It's a website. You know, it's like you easily sit there and be, "Hey, can you cut that out for part? Can you cut that part out for me?" That kind of thing. Anyway, the actual show itself, I'll just talk about that real quick because, like I said, the season finale was the other night. Uh, I don't know. It's like I think that the show has been at times it's kind of been meandering because there's been certain episodes, the one that people always talk about, with the when they embrace the gayness and stuff. I don't really, that don't bother me. I just think they wasted too much time on it. Like it was a nice episode. I don't want to go into too much detail for spoilers or whatever. I don't think anybody gives a crap about that, but whatever. There are some episodes that just drug too long. There wasn't enough excitement. That's my general overall theme for it. Like if I were to give the show a review, the problem is it just kind of ended. So sometimes it takes a while for me to marinate on a show and really come up with a review. Um, I would be leaning towards like a 6, maybe a 6.5 or something. I mean, maybe I'd want to go like 5, 5.5. But I thought there were some parts that were really well done. Some of the cinematography, can't even speak now, but I thought it was pretty good. There were some other parts. There's quibbles and stuff. There's always things you can complain about. You can say that about every show. I thought the show was okay. I think there's some people are just going gaga and crazy over it, like giving it tens and stuff. I would not agree with that in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's a 1 either. I think it's in the middle. Like I said, 5, 6, something like that. That's what I personally would give. I'm not sure about anybody else. I don't agree with the critics who are just praising it as one of the best shows of all time and stuff. At least not yet. I don't know. I mean, Like I said though, I might change my opinion. I might bump it up a little bit more. Maybe I'll go to a 7.5. As the season as a whole, I mean, by the way, not just like the final episode or things like that. Because there's been some episodes that have been really good. Then other episodes you're like, this is just kind of a slog. What are we doing here? Anyway, I've already gone over 5 minutes just talking about this article and stuff. And basically to sum it all up, I think Druckmann was wrong to say I don't care, even though I largely agree with what he's saying. It's like that's just terrible optics. You shouldn't say that kind of stuff. You should try to avoid that kind of stuff because people will run with it. And if GameSpot.com is running with that, it's like you just imagine the people who are anti-woke, who are against the show, from the beginning and stuff, what they're saying. You know, you could probably see the thumbnails in your head as as you're reading this. But anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here, though. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.